So one night in October of 1890, in our central business district, a corrupt police chief named David Hennessy is having dinner with his buddy Billy O'Connor. Dave Hennessy was almost home. He was at the foot of his stoop, fishing around in his pockets for the key to unlock the door, when 5 men pop up behind him with sawed-off shotguns and light him up like a Christmas tree. David Hennessy's last words in this world were, "Those damn Sicilians got me good," although he didn't say Sicilians, he used a slur. And the entire city freaks out. They would find just enough evidence to try 19 people. It was just enough to try them. That jury came back with a unanimous verdict of not guilty very quickly. And when word gets out that these people are going to be allowed to walk, an angry mob of 2,000 forms. They're going to take those 11 people to the very live oaks you see surrounding Congo Square today, and they hang everyone. Given the fact that the blood from those bodies is going to drip into the dirt and become part of the landscape, it is not at all a wonder that people pass by this park at night all the time. Out of the corner of their eye, they could swear they see a body swinging from a rope in an oak tree. But the moment they gasp and look up, there's simply nothing there. First and foremost, my friends, voodoo is a religion. Voodoo is a very cool religion. It's got roots in West African animism. This idea that everything has a spirit. A tree has its own beautiful, unique, individual spirit. A river has a bigger, even more powerful spirit. But here in New Orleans, on top of all of that, voodoo is also monotheistic, very similar to our Catholic friends. Also similar to our Catholic friends. Good God appeared. He's got way bigger fish to fry than our problems. He's got a whole universe to run. You don't bother him directly. Instead, you go through intermediary spirits called the Loa, spelled L-W-A. Now, many of these Loa start off as human, and they're elevated to something higher after death. Marie's rituals were dramatic as hell and over the top. We're going to get into that in a minute. But her daughter took that shit to a whole other level. Those rituals in Bayou St. John would have multiple bonfires, fire jugglers, fire swallowers, people in all kinds of crazy elaborate costumes. Unfortunately, at the age of 32, she got wind of a yellow fever outbreak on the other side of the lake. She grabs her healing herbs, she takes a boat, she heads over to help out. On her way back, there's a huge storm. The boat capsizes. Marie II drowns, does not get to succeed her mother. Anyone who's worked in the original shop, myself included, will tell you she never left. Some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life I saw working there. So he sees a sign that says, "Please do not touch the altar," and decides he's gonna be cute. So he touches that altar, he starts to run out the shop. I couldn't tell you what he tripped over. There was nothing between this man and the front door. Whatever it was, it caught his knee. And he fell face first through the door, face first into Bourbon Street. So she's also partly raised by her grandmother, Catherine, who was not devoutly Catholic. Catherine was a voodoo priestess from Haiti. So Marie has each of these religions coming in on each side, right? And given the similarities that I just threw out, is it any real wonder that a young Marie Laveau looked at both of these things and said, "Oh, these are just two sides of the same coin"? She didn't see any disconnect at all in practicing voodoo and being devoutly Catholic, which, by the way, she was. She was baptized Catholic as a little girl. She was married Catholic at the age of 17, and according to records we have from St. Louis Cathedral, she was in there every single day of her adult life. You don't get a lot more devoted than that. Everyone shows up early except Marie. Marie shows up 15 minutes late because she knows how to make an entrance. Comes in that long flowing white dress, that white tighten on her head wrap. In one hand she's got her bag of chicken bones. So she chants over those bones, tosses them, reads them, points one lady out and says, "So, yeah, how long you been having an affair with the stable boy?" She then goes around the rest of this party telling secrets on anyone who isn't the lady of the house. Well, everybody's going to want their sadistic little chuckle at everybody else's expense, right? So by the end of the night, she's booked for voodoo parties through the end of the year. She was hiring actual voodoo priestesses from impoverished neighborhoods so they could make a decent living while being the closest thing the community has to a doctor. Once she gets her shop and her house paid for, she's helping people keep a roof over their heads when they're struggling. She's feeding people. We know of at least 4 women that she helped leave this city under cover of darkness because they were in abusive relationships. She gave them a means of starting life over somewhere else. And it turns out in the beginning, All she was doing was taking money from people with more money than sense and putting it into her community where it could do some good. So between her training from her grandmother Catherine, her training from the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, and lessons in PR that she got from her friend Père Antoine down at the cathedral, she went on to become the most influential voodoo priestess in the history of our city. And fun fact, the New York Times was writing about this woman for 30 years before she died. So she died in 1881, the ripe old age of 80, surrounded by her surviving children and her grandchildren. And here's something else Hollywood won't tell you. To this day, her funeral is one of the most highly attended events ever held at that cathedral. Not only did the cathedral fill up, Jackson Square filled up. People came from all over to pay their final respects. She was very well loved in her lifetime. Her obituary, which by the way was also published in the Times, really put the exclamation point on that with what might be my favorite quote I've read in an obituary. They said, "Despite being met with ignorance and prejudice at every turn, Marie Laveau continued to live a life based on the idea of doing good for the sake of doing good, with little to no expectation of reward in return." Like I said, she's my favorite human being in the history of our city. Hopefully you see why I have to take a minute to clear her name. The original was a two-story building with an attic. It was built on that corner in 1831 for Dr. Louis and Madame Delphine Lalaurie. According to just about any interaction I've read of that woman having with anyone, she was one that loved to twist the knife on people. She had a sadistic streak a mile long. 3 firefighters go upstairs with axes, start going to work on that very heavily locked attic door. When they finally get the door down, the smell alone is enough to cause these men to fall to their knees and start vomiting. Now, like I said, there's been an awful lot of bullshit thrown around about what was found in that attic. The truth of the matter is, they found 7 enslaved people up there, all of whom are alive, but 4 of them have been hooked up to these strange machines that are bending their joints and their bones in directions they're not supposed to bend. Early chiropractic equipment misused. The rest were heavily lashed with a cat and 9 tails. For those of you unfamiliar, a cat and 9 tails is a whip with, well, 9 tails, heavily barbed. Delphine was known to keep one in the drawer of her vanity, which was right next to the door to that attic. Again, exclamation point, both complete pieces of shit. The previous owner held the record. Man owned that house for just north of 15 years, longest anybody's held on to it, and we think the secret to his success is the fact that he didn't live there. Vacation home for a wealthy Texas oil guy named Michael Whalen. He was there for Halloween and Mardi Gras, that's about it. And the guy who owned it before him had a rough time. That guy was there for about 3 months when his career took a nosedive he's just coming out of. So, we're not sure what happened 6 months in. Nicolas Cage doesn't talk about it with anybody. What we do know is he left that house and he refused to step foot in it again, and that's when horrible things start happening in Nicolas Cage's career. And I'm not just talking about Ghost Rider 2, but how do you explain that without a curse? All right, my friends, so right behind me is the oldest building in the Mississippi River Valley. It is a rebuilt building. The original was completed in 1727. This one was completed in 1747. It is the old Ursulines convent. So I hate to break it to you, but there are no silver nails dipped in holy water blessed with the Pope himself in those top floor shutters. Besides, this is New Orleans. Do you have any idea how quickly we would have stolen those? Initially, vampires looked like ghouls or zombies or something more along those lines. And our yellow fever outbreaks were absolutely brutal. Most cities in the 19th century had 1 or 2. We had 6. Yellow fever is spread by the state bird of Louisiana, the mosquito. We live on a swamp, and that wasn't going to turn out well for us at all. The worst outbreak happens over the summer of 1853. 8,600 dead. 10% of our population gone in a single summer. That one was so bad that there were piles of bodies waist high along the edge of the sidewalk. And again, middle of the summer. I don't even want to imagine what that had to have smelled like.
That was amazing. Thank you, Prince. We're coming over here to our friend.
So the Cajuns are the folks that live in a swamp. They started from Canada. They're crazy, but they're good people. They're very friendly and they're very resourceful, but they do a lot of fishing and hunting. And those guys bring all that wild food to the city, and we love it. The crawfish, the catfish, the alligator, the frogs, the turtle, rabbits and ducks. There are also raccoons and possums and squirrels and nutrias and all kinds of things. You like possum? And you see the guys making the beignet here. The beignet has to be made fresh. The dough cannot be made in advance. So you see the guy on back making the dough, it's on the machine, roll it, comes here flat, it's cut, and after I'm going to put in the fryer. If you buy the mix to make beignets at home, make sure you make it pretty thick. See how thick they are? Like a quarter inch. If you're not thick enough, they don't go to puff up. So the Kalas come from West Africa. Arrived here with some slave people. In fact, a few months ago. So the mozzarella is a big round sandwich. The bread is like a focaccia type of bread with sesame seeds on top. And string meat and 2 cheese. With ham, salami, mortadella, sweet cheese, and provolone. And on top of it, we put what we call here the salad dressing, the green olive dressing. So it's pickled vegetables with green olives and garlic, and olive oil and herbs, and all kinds of things like that on top of it. Dark crew of New Orleans. I never heard of a dark crew myself. So when I read the recipe, it said make a roux. I made a roux like in France, which is butter and flour, and you cook it for about 5 minutes, and we use it for thickening. You know, and that's it. The dark crew of New Orleans is made with flour and oil.
Benji's about 11 foot, and he's the second biggest alligator we have out here. So. He's not small. How old? If I had to just put a number on him, I'd say he's in his 30s.
Oh wow.
30, 35 years old.
How much would that weigh?
That would probably weigh anywhere from 450 to 500 pounds, I would say.
Wow.
Maybe even over 500 pounds. But he is very large. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my god.
What? Yeah. What? Why are you fussing? There you go.
How many marshmallows does he get per day?
Probably a dozen. Yeah, probably about a dozen. Everybody tries to give him 2 or 3. You know, you don't want to just stuff him full of freaking sugar every day, but that's why a lot of guys like to implement chicken. Usually one day, you designate to bring chicken that day, and everybody else just kind of bring marshmallows. Cause if everybody brought chicken out here every single day, we'd all be broke. Let's just be honest. Alright. A couple alligators out today, but y'all seen the 2 that went under?
Yeah.
That's normal behavior for an alligator. You go out around anywhere out here that's not our property, that's how they normally gonna act. They're gonna go in the water, they're gonna take off. Now, all the alligators come up to the boat like this is payroll alligators. They come. Okay, so probably top of their food list of things that they like. Number 1 probably being dead animals in general, no matter what it is. Another alligator, a pig, a fish, a bird, you name it, right? That's probably number 1 on their list. They all about an easy meal. Calm down. The little one's a lot more feisty. This is the exact alligator I got bit by. No, I think it was that one. It was one of these little ones. He's a little bit bigger. He's probably around 5.5, 6 foot. But the little one's a lot faster, a lot more feisty. What? So the reason I kind of know how old these alligators are, and it's not because I've been seeing them since they was born. It's actually because an alligator will grow on average 1 foot every single year, up to 6 feet. Okay. That was decent. Oh, we got a 4th one. This is the first time we had a 4th alligator out here in a while. Ooh. She ain't taking Greedy's crap, I can tell you that.
Oh, look at him.
Dang. Yeah. You can have one. God. Greedy done met a match today. This is the first time I've seen this little alligator.
She's not happy.
Yeah, this one's dark, real dark. Here they come.
They're trying to
Oh,
do
there's the babies.
The babies are the non-colored.
Yes, the little brown ones. Take your time. All right. You can take your little piece of that and hold it out in your fingers like that. Yeah, just kneel down. And just grab it. There you go. There you go. Now, we'll give her a little piece. There you go. Oh, the baby. The baby came snatching. Might peck your finger if you got nothing in there. Uh-huh. Oh, there you go. So it's this front right one right here. Yeah, he's doing just fine though. He is doing great. He stays by his little tree right here, and that's where he hangs out every day.
He's not venturing off into stormy territory.
No. Nope. He kind of learned his lesson, I guess. This is Squirt. That's what my niece named her. All right. This is a 1-year-old alligator. 1 year old. This alligator is actually a part of our aid program that was started back, well, the program itself was started back in the 50s, but we started taking part in maintaining this property about, I don't know, 8 years ago. And kind of the short story is we collect alligator eggs, we sell them to the farmers. The farmer buys the eggs from us, he hatches the eggs and grow the alligators out to about 4 foot. 12% of those 4 foot alligators we receive back to be released back into the property, and the rest he keeps for restaurants, boots, belts, purses, all those other fancy things. So, you wanna hold it? She ain't gonna bite you, just try not to squeeze it too hard, but she will get a little spunky sometimes.
Where did you have squirt stored at this point?
My pocket.
Oh, really?
No. I had a little cooler back there. Things out in the water. That's the average from hatching and then making it past 2 years.